Okay, you are welcome once again to this lecture where we are looking at scholarly writing, or what we can also term as academic writing, academic publishing. And I am still your course facilitator, Dr. Mark Kahwa, a Faculty of Education here at the Mountains of the Moon University in Western Uganda. Before we went for in the previous lecture, we are looking at how an author can respond to the reviewers, comments. And we looked at a number of aspects, so we are picking on from there. And in this lecture, I'm just going to give you an example of how you can make a detailed response to the reviewer's comments. And you'll be required to make a response to the reviewers if you are responding if your manuscript was accepted with minor changes, or if it was accepted with major changes. So with those two types of responses from the reviewers, you will be required to prepare a response. So I've already said in the previous lecture that when you receive such responses from the reviewers, then on your side, you don't only make corrections within the manuscript, but you also have to prepare a separate response. A separate response where you are going to show all the comments that were raised by the reviewer, how you addressed them. So as you can see, here I'm just giving you an example. You can see you have the reviewer's comments. You have one column with the reviewer's comments. You have the second column that is about corrections done, stroke remarks. So you can just prepare a table in this very simple format where you have just two columns. You have the reviewer's comments, and also you have the corrections done, stroke the remarks. So what you do in the reviewer's comments, you will copy the reviewer's comments verbatim as they are. Then you copy those responses one by one. I mean the comments one by one. So you copy the comment of the reviewer one by one. You come and paste it here. You can see, for example, here, if you can see the reviewer's comments, like the first one, 1.1, the title apparently is too long and should be revised. So that was a comment from the reviewer. So you can see now the other side of the corrections responding now to this particular comment. So here, there we say that we have slightly adjusted the title as shown below. Beyond that, it would mean distorting the entire meaning of this research. So we even show now, but we made some modifications. Before, the title was too lengthy, too long. So you can see 2.1. This was also just copied as is from the reviewer's comments. The authors need to clarify the problem statement. E.g., why was the study needed? If not addressed, how much this problem could impact on learners. And the researchers' contributions. Note that the contributions are not the same as the presentation of the findings. The authors needed to provide based on the experiences and comparison with previous studies, and so on and so forth. So this was a comment from the reviewer, and it was just copied as is and just pasted here. Now on the other side of the corrections of the comments, now we show how we adjusted, or how we responded to the comment. The problem statement, stroke rationale for the study, has been included in the introduction section. Some extract is hereby given. So here we just give an extract. that although many pieces of research have been conducted on the use of more flexible teaching strategies, including audio media technology in regard to students' academic performance, it remains to be established whether audio media as a teaching approach facilitates learning or enhances university students' academic performance. While some higher education institutions of learning use both audio media and instructional strategies, blah, 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 blah. So you can see there that we are responding to the comment of the reviewer. So in simple terms, when you are responding to the reviewer's comments, you don't only respond by adjusting the manuscript, but you prepare a separate document. And that is the format I have shown you, so which will be sent along with the revised manuscript or with the revised article that you are now going to again submit to the reviewer. So that is a simple format that you are supposed to use. Now, as we continue, we are talking about this peer review process. But what are the advantages of the peer review? Why should an author be interested in the peer review? First of all, peer review protects the quality of published research. Any journal, any publisher that doesn't have the peer review process is really put to question. The quality of their work and the quality of the articles published are put to question. So peer review can stop obviously problematic, falsified, or otherwise untrustworthy research from being published. You can never, because if you really have false information or substandard manuscript, then it will never go through the peer review. Your paper will never be accepted. So the peer review safeguards the quality of publications that are issued out into the scientific community. Now, peer review gives you access to feedback from experts in your field. We are calling it peer review, meaning that experts in your field, experts who have similar qualifications like you, are the ones who go through your work. And then you are able to get constructive feedback, which will eventually assist you improve your own work. Then peer review presents an excellent opportunity to get feedback from renowned experts in your field and to improve your rating through their feedback and guidance. So depending on which aspects you are writing about and in which field you are, for example, if you are in maybe rating, you are in leadership, maybe you are in educational management and planning, maybe you are rating on vocational education, you are rating maybe on e-learning education, whatever, mention it, on whatever aspects, you will be able to get feedback from experts. Because we, as we say, that we always stand on the shoulders of the giants. So even now with this peer review process, you are getting knowledge, you are getting skills from the giants, from the academic giants, who have done it before you, who have been in this field for quite some time. Then also, peer review helps you identify any weaknesses in your argument. You raise different arguments in your work as you are writing. So peer review acts as a first defense, helping you ensure your argument is clear and that there are no gaps and there are no vague terms as you present your work. In as much as we say that peer review is good, is acceptable, but peer review is also criticized for a number of reasons. First of all, we have the reviewer bias. A common criticism that an excellent paper by a new researcher may be declined when an objectively lower quality submission by an established researcher would be accepted. So there is always that kind of bias. If they know you, maybe you are a professor, you are a doctor, and you have so many previously published articles online. So sometimes there is that bias when you submit your work. It is sometimes presumed to be of high quality. as compared to, you know, a junior researcher who is just presenting their work for the first time. So sometimes they might think their work is of poor quality. So normally there is that kind of bias. Then there are delays in publication. The thoroughness of the peer review process can lead to significant delays in publishing time. The researchers whose current at the time of submission might be as current by the time, might not be as current as the time it is published. Because there are really some journals, some publishers that will take a lot of time to publish your work. And sometimes by the time you publish your work, by the time you give in your work, you might find that it is current. It is what I want to say is that by the time you submit your work for publication, there is a current issue. There is a hot issue. But if that work takes about 10 years, 10 months or maybe 7 months before it is being published, you find that the issue now is not current. Just we can give an example of COVID-19. If you published an article on COVID-19 in 2020 or 2021, at that time it was really a hot cake. But what about at this time now if you publish a paper or a manuscript, a research paper on COVID-19, it will receive less attention. Then the risk of human error. By its very nature, peer review carries a risk of human error. In particular, falsification often cannot be detected, given that reviewers would have to replicate entire experiments to ensure that valid results are published. So sometimes, even if the work goes through the peer review, the risk of human error sometimes cannot be avoided. So in as much as peer review is good, in as much as peer review is appreciated, those are some of the criticisms that scholars advance when it comes to the peer review. And sometimes, by the way, it can be very annoying. Especially when you are a student, you are studying, you have, a fixed deadline. You submit your paper, it takes a year and a half. When you don't have any response, sometimes your progress can be affected, can be curtailed. So as for now, we can stop here. We shall pick up from here some other time. So thank you so much, and God bless you.